In a dual converter, both converters work as rectifiers. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false. A single-phase full-wave regulator feeds RL load. The best gating signal is A. Short-duration pulses. B. Long-duration pulses. C. Pulse train. D. Either A or B. The correct answer is pulse train. A three-phase induction motor is fed by a three-phase AC regulator to change the stator voltage. The variation in speed will be more if A. Load torque is constant. B. Load torque increases with increase in speed. C. Load torque decreases with increase in speed. D. Either A or B. The correct answer is load torque increases with increase in speed. A cycloconverter cannot give a frequency higher than input frequency. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false. A thyristor has internal power dissipation of 40 watts and is operated at an ambient temperature of 20 C. If thermal resistance is 1.6 cW, the junction temperature is A. 114 C. B. 164 C. C. 94 C. D. 84 C. The correct answer is 84 C. In a single-phase dual converter, a 1 and a 2 are firing angles of the two converters. Then, A 1 A 2, B a 1 A 2P, C a 1 A 2P, D a 1 A 2. The correct answer is a 1 A 2P. The number of gates in an SCR is A1, B3, C4, D6. The correct answer is 1. The wave shape of output voltage of half-bridge inverter is A. Sinusoidal, B. Square, C. Triangular, D. Either A or B. The correct answer is square. A three-phase induction motor is controlled by voltage and frequency control such that the ratio Vf is constant. At 50 Hz the speed is 1440 rpm. At 25 Hz the speed is likely to be A. About 1350 rpm, B. About 720 rpm, C. About 360 rpm, D. Either B or C. The correct answer is about 720 rpm. The gate current required to turn on an SCR is A. Few amperes, B. A few mA, C. Almost equal to anode current, D. About 50 of anode current. The correct answer is a few mA. A single-phase half-wave converter is used to charge a battery of 50 V. The thyristor is continuously fired by DC signal. Input voltage is VVM centi. The thyristor will conduct A. from 0 to 180, B. when V50 V, C. from 0 to 90, D. when V50 V. The correct answer is when V50 V. The symbol in figure is for A. dielectric, B. p-n junction diode, C. Shockley diode, D. none of the above. The correct answer is Shockley diode. In a three-phase semiconverter the firing frequency is A. equal to line frequency, B. 3 times the line frequency, C. 6 times the line frequency, D. 12 times the line frequency. The correct answer is 3 times the line frequency. Present-day HVDC converters are all A. 3-pulse converters, B. 6-pulse converters, C. 12-pulse converters, D. either 6-pulse or 12 converters. The correct answer is 12-pulse converters. A single-phase full converter gives maximum and minimum output voltage at firing angles of A0 and 180 respectively. B 180 and 0 respectively, C 0 and 90 respectively, D 90 and 0 respectively. The correct answer is 0 and 180 respectively. A thyristor has its gate current 0. To start conduction, the forward voltage must exceed A about 0.5 V, B forward breakover voltage, C on state voltage, D peak working of state forward voltage. The correct answer is forward breakover voltage. In dielectric heating, the thyristor circuits consist of A rectifier chopper combination, B controlled rectifier, C AC regulator, D rectifier inverter combination. The correct answer is rectifier inverter combination. On-load tap changer using thyristors can have a maximum of 2 taps. A true, B false, C, D. The correct answer is false. In the below figure, the RMS voltage across each half of secondary is 200 V. The peak inverse voltage across each of thyristor is A 200 V, B 200 V, C 400 V, D 800 V. The correct answer is 400 V. In a single-phase full-wave AC regulator, the firing angles in the 2 half cycles A are always equal, B are sometimes equal, C are never equal, D may be equal or unequal. The correct answer is are always equal. As regards single-phase dual converter, the change in operation from one quadrant to the other is faster in non-circulating current mode. B. The change in operation from one quadrant to the other is faster in circulating current mode. C. The time response to change in operation from one quadrant to other is the same in both the modes. D. The time response to change in operation from one quadrant to the other may be faster in any of the 2 modes. The correct answer is the change in operation from one quadrant to the other is faster in circulating current mode. To protect an SCR against high DDT, we connect A capacitance in series with SCR, B a capacitance in parallel with SCR, C an inductance in parallel with SCR, D an inductance in series with SCR. The correct answer is an inductance in series with SCR. In a parallel inverter, the commutating capacitor C is across the primary of transformer and the load is across the secondary. B. The commutating capacitor and load are connected across the secondary of transformer. C. The commutating capacitor C and load are connected in series and the combination is across the secondary of transformer. D. None of the above. The correct answer is the commutating capacitor C is across the primary of transformer and the load is across the secondary. A silicon-controlled switch has A 2 leads, B 3 leads, C 4 leads, D 5 leads. The correct answer is 4 leads. A DC chopper V500V feeds an electric fraction DC series motor. The chopping frequency is 400 Hz. The series inductance required to limit the maximum current swing to 10 A is A 20 mH, B about 31 mH, C about 51 mH, D about 92 mH. The correct answer is about 31 mH. A single-phase fully controlled bridge rectifier is fed by a source having inductance. The output voltage during overlap period is A Vm, B 0.5 Vm, C 0, D 0.5 Vm voltage drop across inductance. The correct answer is 0. In a semiconverter feeding a resistive load, the firing angle is A. Each thyristor conducts for AP radians, BP radians, C. Pi radians. D. P 0.5 radians. The correct answer is Pi radians. Between which points does UJT exhibit negative resistance characteristics? A. Between peak and valley points. B. Before peak point. C. After peak point. D. After valley point. The correct answer is between peak and valley points. A thyristor has maximum allowable junction temperature of 110 C and the ambient temperature is 40 C. If the maximum internal power dissipation is 50 watts, the thermal resistance is A. 2 cW, B. 1.4 cW, C. 0.7 cW, D. 2.2 cW. The correct answer is 1.4 cW. A single-phase electric heater uses phase-controlled thyristors. The firing angle is 90. The degree of heating is A. 25 of maximum, B. 50 of maximum, C. 75 of maximum, D. None of the above. The correct answer is 50 of maximum. Which of these commutation methods is used in AC-DC converters? A. Class A, B. Class C, C. Class D, D. Class F. The correct answer is Class F. When thyristors are connected in series and parallel, it may be necessary to have A. Current derating, B. Voltage derating, C. Both current and voltage derating, D. None of the above. The correct answer is both current and voltage derating. A single-phase half-wave regulator uses A. 2 diodes and 2 thyristors, B. 2 thyristors, C. 1 diode and 1 thyristor, D. 2 diodes. The correct answer is 1 diode and 1 thyristor. A Shockley diode can be used A. in place of SCR, B. as a trigger switch for SCR, C. in place of UJT, D. both in place of SCR and as a trigger switch for SCR. The correct answer is as a trigger switch for SCR. An SCR has a turn-on time of 4s. The gate pulse should have a duration of about A. 2s, B. 5s, C. 20s, D. 50s. The correct answer is 5s. In a multiphase chopper, the different choppers operate in A. series and all simultaneously, B. parallel and one at a time, C. parallel and simultaneously, D. either B or C. The correct answer is parallel and one at a time. In a three-phase semiconverter, the DC output voltage for a certain firing angle is 50 of the maximum possible value. The firing angle is A. 30, B. 60, C. 90, D. 120. The correct answer is 90. A high-frequency series inverter consists of A. a number of series inverters in series, B. a number of series inverters in parallel, C. a number of parallel inverters in parallel, D. a number of parallel inverters in series. The correct answer is a number of series inverters in parallel. In an SCR, the anode current consists of A. only holes, B. only electrons, C. both electrons and holes, D. either electrons or holes. The correct answer is both electrons and holes. A three-phase semiconverter, when supplying a certain load, has a rectification efficiency of 0.6 and transformer utilization factor of 0.35. When a three-phase full converter is supplying the same load, a rectification efficiency will be more than 0.6 and TUF will be more than 0.35. B. rectification efficiency will be more than 0.6 but TUF will be less than 0.35. C. Rectification efficiency will be less than 0.6 and TUF will be less than 0.35. D. Rectification efficiency will be less than 0.6 but TUF will be more than 0.35. The correct answer is rectification efficiency will be more than 0.6 and TUF will be more than 0.35. When the core of a saturable reactor is saturated, the inductance is high. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false. In controlled heating circuits, thyristors act as A. Rectifier, B. Inverter, C. AC regulator, D. chopper. The correct answer is AC regulator. In a fully controlled bridge converter feeding a resistive load, the waveshapes of output voltage and output current A are always similar, B can never be similar, C may be similar or dissimilar, D are similar only if a zero. The correct answer is are always similar.